Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is Behind the Scenes. And in this episode, I wanted to talk about some of the work I did for my recent April Fool's video, Ultimate Weapon. Specifically, we'll be looking at the first 15 seconds, the intro, and be discussing some of the techniques and some of the work that went into that. Now, right at the start of the video, you'll notice some film-like scribbles going up the screen. This was intentional to give it a cinematic feel, assembled from imported frames, just saved out in Photoshop. So, what did it say? Well, here it is. Here's the original photo. So next up was the logo weld effect over a starfield backdrop. For the starfield, thanks to NASA, there's a whole wealth of free star images out there. This is the particular one that I used. It's the Thor's Helmet Nebula. Anyway, apply a pan and crop with a couple of keyframes to slowly zoom and rotate the image, and you've got yourself a background. The actual logo itself was a little bit more work. 95 frames of work, in fact. Each of which painstakingly saved out in Photoshop and reassembled in Vegas. Effects were a gradient map to turn the whole thing blue, color balance to adjust the colors slightly, a glow effect to add a kind of a radiant feel to it, and then finally a defocus to slowly bring the logo into focus. Sounds were produced using Reason, just a couple of simple pads and lead synth, performed with a Korg K25. Pretty simple, really. So that just about covers the first 8 seconds of the video. The next part is the Ultimate Weapon slide and the slam effect. That's the one. The metallic slabs are basically just two images, one for the top, one for the bottom. The motion is very, very simple track motion. The only tricky thing is the motion blur. That's the purple envelope at the bottom there. Uses a lot of CPU, so it's best to use sparingly. Also, you can see the keyframes for the earthquake effect on the video track. Here's an earlier version of the Ultimate Weapon logo. I changed it because I wasn't a particular fan of the font, and I thought it was a little bit too monochromatic, so I went for more of an orange hue in the later version. In addition to the camera shake, the motion blur, you might also notice a bit of a smoky effect when the actual two slabs collide. This is actually just smoke from a smoke machine. Very simple, recorded on a Canon 7D. Here's the raw image. Very, very simple effect. As the plates come together, just simply add a smoke overlay and then fade it out relatively quickly. As far as sound, of course, with a massive crash, it's not only about the visuals, you've also got to have sound effects. I used freesound.org to source a couple of fairly standard crash and bang effects. The effect I used for the actual impact was this one. But I also used another sound to kind of build up to the explosion, to give a sense of anticipation. It was also at this point that the music kicks in, which is just the music from the first level of Doom, E1M1. The track's called At Doom's Gate, appropriately enough. And from here, the two metal panels do exactly what they did to come into the scene, but in reverse, to reveal the final scene of the intro, the actual picture of the weapon. This was a very simple, just a static slide, built up from concrete texture, with gradients and vignettes. Picture of the BFG, of course, with the red overlay to give it a sense of lighting. And then the text was built up using a font based on Doom's own font. Kind of a vermilion color, then built up with a shadow, an outer glow with a red, a gradient overlay, also an inner glow. Basically just an attempt to ape Doom's own typographical style. And then as a segue into the actual gameplay, I used the BFG Plasma Ball as kind of its own transition effect. I took a few frames from the actual game, cut them out, made some slides of them, and then I imported them as an image sequence. I also added a couple of keyframes just to make it seem as though it was zooming in, coming towards the camera. And I added the sound effect, the unmistakable sound of the BFG 9000. So there you have it. That's the first 15 seconds of Ultimate Weapon, and the effects and the different media that I used during that. It might seem like an awful lot of work for 15 seconds, but if I'm honest, I rather enjoy the process. There were some other tricks that went into the latter part of the video, but for the most part it was simply gameplay with voiceover. The titling was done with the Nublu Titler Pro, and much of the outro simply mirrored what I did for the intro. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll append the entire 15 seconds with audio at the end here so you can review it. And until next time, farewell. Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is Ultimate Weapon. This time, it's the BFG 9000 from Doom.